Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, amma ba'd. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Ameen. Assalamu alaykum. I greet you with the peace and blessings of Allah. And hello, how are you doing? You all good? So it is a tradition of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that when we start speaking of any topic of significance, we begin with the name of Allah. So that's what I did there for those of you that don't understand Arabic. And we send our prayers upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him as well. You guys don't mind if I walk around, right? Because I'm not like one of your uni lecturers. I don't have to stay in one place. Is that okay? Because I don't have a mic, so you guys can hear me, right? Yeah. Okay, very good. The sperm that ran away. Okay, I'll tell you a bit more about the title in a bit. Yeah. Who thinks they know what this talk is about? See, whenever universities book me, right, and I always try to keep them have intriguing titles, and whoever books me, like the head of the ISOC or whatever, will ask them, so what's the talk about? I'll just come to it. Like, how are we supposed to tell people? Don't worry. I don't like to give it away. So who thinks they know what the talk is about? You guys don't know how to speak English? You're studying in the wrong country, what? Who thinks they know what the talk is about? About sperm. Yes, sir. Oh. SubhanAllah, you guys, I sincerely hope you don't have like a comedy society. You guys didn't find that funny? Yeah, you guys definitely don't have sense of humor, right? What about you, What do you think the talk is about? You right there, that is. Yeah. No? You guys are broke. You just came to a talk, you didn't even know what on earth it was about. You must have had an idea, right? But you guys just came for the sperm. You guys are perfect, man. No? You guys don't have a clue? Okay. The basis of this talk is for me to establish to you the existence of a divine creator, beyond any doubt. And then for me to go ahead and a step further and do my best to develop a relationship between you and this creator. Now, I'm going to be using the Quran as a basis, right? I'm going to be using the Quran as a basis to put forth my arguments. Now, just for me to understand, is there any like non-Muslims here? Anyone who's not Muslim? 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyone else? 5. They are non-Muslim because you guys don't get the jokes. You know, I think I went to Pakistan recently, right? And I had to kill my jokes down. So I'm actually quite funny. I had to kill my jokes down so bad because they wouldn't understand them, right? I think it's perfect. Alright. You guys may be wondering, right? Muslims and non-Muslims are like, sometimes we wonder as well, because we don't really study the Quran. That how, what's the point of me using the Quran as a basis to prove a divine creator and then to develop a relationship between you and this divine creator when you don't believe in the Quran to be the word of the creator in the first place? Well, see, that's the beauty of the Quran, right? The Quran, it actually puts forth very generic arguments that you can actually look at them from a philosophical perspective, from a rational, logical, and even an empirical perspective, right? But at the same time, the Quran goes a step further and legitimizes its claim to be the word of Allah by proving itself to be the word of Allah. And I'll show you how that happens as we go on, right? So bear with me. Even though these arguments I'm going to present forth are from the Quran, it makes sense. Now, is there anyone here that does science or anything like that? 1, 2, 3. Biology specific. Any biology students? Just one? Just 1? 2? Okay, that's not enough. Okay, depends. Usually, right, if I'm giving this lecture to a whole bunch of like science geeks, was funny. I'm telling you, in my head that was funny. I'm joking on you. If I'm giving this lecture to people that are well versed in the sciences, then I get a bit scientific. And I'm not going to really do that today, right? I'm not going to do that today because sometimes we approach these questions always with an academic perspective. And that's not enough, right? There is a spiritual element to what the Quran brings forth that, in my opinion, right, is much more profound in actually getting the message across than the academic perspective. But I'm going to do both. Hopefully, I aim to satisfy you intellectually and spiritually, right? So we're not going to go too deep into the science. Now, it's very, very hard to believe, right, that there is any one of you in this room that hasn't thought about the very profound question, like, why am I here? Or how did I get here? At least at some point in their life. You may get the odd few, but an anomaly doesn't speak for the masses, right? So, generally speaking, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, we do ask the question, like, why on earth am I here? How did I get here? And it's actually very profound because, according to a recent research that was conducted at Cambridge University by Justin L. Barrett, who is head of the anthropology department there, they concluded, right, through several cognitive studies, research studies, with very young children, that everyone is born believing in the divine. Everyone is born believing that they were here for a purpose. Every single child, before they are, what I would say, corrupted by their environment into a different belief, originally they believe that there is someone that is seeing them, there is someone that is watching them, and there is someone that is listening to them. And this is from a non-Muslim source, by the way, right? And the conclusion that they came to was that if you take a bunch of children and you just put them on an island to raise themselves, they will automatically grow up believing in a supreme deity. Sometimes we refer to this deity as God, right? The creator, the divine, or whatever. Just as a side note, I won't be using the word God because me as a Muslim and my fellow Muslims don't believe in God. We don't have a belief in God, okay? We believe, I mean, if you want to get technical, we believe in Allah, right? Allah is many things. He has 99 attributes. We know him through 99 attributes. For example, one of your attributes is that you're very handsome. MashaAllah. And you have a beautiful smile. That's 2 attributes, right? So we know our Creator, we know our Lord, our Master through 99 attributes. But for the majority of today, I'd like to focus on just 2 of those. I just want to focus on one of those attributes, and that is the Creator. We don't refer to him as God. Because when I say God, you think of a man, I don't mean this in like a disrespectful way, but the immediate image that comes to your mind is of a man with blonde hair and blue eyes and water. Or the image of Zeus holding lightning. I mean, whenever I hear God, I think of an old guy with a beard in a cloud holding a lightning bolt. Pa! That's the image I get, right? This concept of what God is totally, it paints a very, according to our belief, a very contradictory picture in the mind. So I'm not going to be using the word God because I don't believe in that concept of God, right? So let's bring it right back to the basics. And what I'm talking to you about is a creator. So as children, and this is not something that you can deny, right? You can't come out and hope that the research was wrong because it wasn't, right? Unless you're going to go and do a PhD in cognitive psychology and prove us otherwise. But the fact of the matter is that evidences are there. The Quran is the only scripture that actually explains us why this is so. The only scripture. In the Quran, we hear of a story where the Creator, after he has created Adam, he takes out from the loins of Adam all of us, like we were all there. this concept of fitrah, right? We've been taught for the last 1,430 years by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who was the one who interpreted the Quran for us. Like the Quran, if you see it, is like our manual, our instruction manual. And you know, sometimes when you buy something so technical from the shop, that you now need one of the engineers to come here and interpret the manual for you and show you what you do. It happens to me all the time with the internet, right? They send me a little book of how to use it, then I'm on the phone like, bro, the internet is whack. Talk me through this. So that's the messenger, the engineer, right? So the Prophet Muhammad is very similar. So the Quran is a manual from the source, the manufacturer, and the Prophet is the engineer that interprets that manual for us. For the last 1,430 years, we as Muslims have been taught of a concept known as fitrah. That there is a being that is watching you, knowing you, seeing you, hearing you, created you for a purpose, and you have this knowledge from birth. This is an innate belief that you have inside yourself. I mean, this would explain, you know, I mean, think about it. For those, do we have any atheists here? By any chance? Okay, so this is a question that I always like to put forth to the atheists, right? And it's food for thought. Think about it. Where did this concept of a divine deity come from? It's always been there. It's always been there. I mean, from as far back as we can remember, when we go back to the prehistoric ages, they had a concept of a deity, of a supreme being, right? You had the last Aborigine tribe that was discovered in the 1920s in Australia. They believed in a concept of a divine creator, that there was only one creator, he had no partners, they worshipped him alone by bowing their head down exactly how we as Muslims do, right? And they had no connection with the outside world whatsoever. No connection. Where did this belief come from? The Muslims are the only ones to rationalize that from the Quran and say, you know what, this is what Allah taught us. Because He had given us this knowledge from before we were created, when we came into this world. That's how we automatically knew. And today, with the benefit of all this new research and these studies conducted, we're like, oh snap. Not only can we rationalize the Quran logically, but now we're able to show its validity empirically. You guys know what I mean by when I say empirically? Right? Empirical knowledge is knowledge through experience. You know, science is the way they like to treat everyone like, science has to be proven by science. That's an empiricist approach. Like, if I can't see it, if I can't touch it, if I can't lick you, if I can't smell you, you don't exist. That's the empiricist approach. Right? No, it's true. Don't believe me, ask what you're talking about. Right? This is the empiricist approach. But what they do is empiricism don't actually take into account the rational approach. For example, if I ask you, how can you prove that you exist? How would you prove that? Well, my eyes can be deceived. But in a dream, no, listen. In a dream, when I have a dream, imagine I see you. But when I wake up, it's a dream. So that's not true anything, because this will just be one big dream. So how do you prove you exist? So you don't exist.
No, I do.
Pardon?
Faith in that I know, that I see.
But how would you rationalize that? Where is the evidence?
You can't rationalise it. It's there.
You can. Well, I think you can. If it's just there, then there's a pie outside that was taken to Jupiter. It's there. You see what I'm saying? Can anyone prove that they exist? With your eyes can see. Imagine it went dark and I turned the lights off in the entire world. Pardon? Okay, you're close. You're very close. Close. When you say, he said feelings, my feelings. Guys, this is my feelings. Your feelings. Take it a step further. Where do your feelings Gerald Schroeder, who is a very well-known physicist, he said there is no difference in essence, right? If you guys talk, I'll make you push-ups. Wallahi, Gerald Schroeder said that in essence, if you look at the fundamental basis of a pile of sand and the brain of an Einstein, there's no difference. It's exactly the same thing. What makes it different is the mind. In other words, the consciousness. Your feelings come from your consciousness. That's how you know it. You know something else from your consciousness. You know the I, you know the self. Rene Descartes. You guys must have heard of him, right? He's a great philosopher. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. In the world of philosophy, like, oh, this guy's a G. You guys know what I mean? He's a G. He's a body man, right? Maybe you can, well, why is he a G? Well, he's put his entire life trying to work out why he exists. Now others may look and think, well, he didn't. Right? But he actually came up with something profound. He said, I think, therefore I am. And if I doubted my existence, I was there to doubt it, so I must exist. Do you get it? But if you don't get it, I'm going to repeat it. Just wrong. The fact of the matter is, though, see, we can prove that we exist. And we don't do that empirically. There's no scientific observation or hypothesis or experiment that we can actually conduct to come to that conclusion. We come to that conclusion rationally. Do you agree? Is anyone that can contend that? No. So that's what, the reason I'm giving you this, right, is to give you an example of the difference between the two kinds of truths. You get empirical truths, but then you get rational truths. But do you see how every time you gave me an empirical truth, I put doubt in your heart? Like, what if you're dreaming? Or what if the lights go off? You can never be absolutely certain with empirical truths. And scientists are aware of this, right? Because when you use the inductive method, the empirical method, it's always on the basis of probability, not on the basis of certainty. But the rational or deductive method is always, the conclusion is always necessary from the argument, from the premise. Make sense? Right? So, everything that I'm going to be showing you today, hopefully, is going to be of that form. It's going to be deductive. So, if you're looking for scientific evidence, like, I want to touch it, smell it, lick it, feel it, so this is not place for you. Go ahead. But I'll follow you. But the fact of the matter is that if you're insistent upon only looking at the world through those lenses, then you're not really going to know much. Because you're not going to know your own existence. You can't justify that scientifically or empirically. Can you justify science scientifically? Can you? Can you? Can you justify science scientifically? If I say science is the way to truth, then that statement should be scientifically accurate, right? I should be able to prove that scientifically. Bare jokes. I didn't know philosophy of science is that funny. I'm not getting it. No, I'm not getting it. Yeah, I was laughing with you.
I understand your question.
Oh no, don't worry. No. What was the question? What was the question?
Can you prove science?
Can you prove that science is a means of the truth? The only means of truth scientifically. You guys are very quiet. Who's the scientist then? shape. How are you going to hypothesize? Can you experiment with that statement? No, you can't. You see, this is where the philosophy of science comes in and kind of slap scientists about. No disrespect. Right? It's very important that I get this through to you, right, from the get-go. Because, see, if I'm wearing red glasses, I'm going to see the world through red lenses. But if you're wearing yellow glasses, you're going to see the world through yellow lenses. Right? And we're looking at the exact same thing, but through different lenses. And we're always going to come to different conclusions. But what I want to hopefully do is put my glasses on your face so you can look through the world in the way that I see. And I see things not empirically, I see them rationally. Very good? So let's get the show on the road. Let's first prove the existence of God. And can someone tell me what time it is? Pardon? 7. Okay. Let's prove the existence of God. The Quran says in one of its lines, were you created by nothing? Or did you create yourself? Or are you the creators of the universe and the earth, of the heavens and the earth? Now, the exegetical implications of these two verses implies the 4 only possible outcomes if we take these questions and apply them to the universe. If we take these questions and apply them to the universe, there are only 4 possibilities. The first of which is that the universe came into existence uncaused. It came into existence from nothing. The second implication is that the universe created itself. The third implication is that the universe was created by something that was also created. And the fourth implication is that the universe was created by something that was not created. Okay? Don't worry. I'll make it more visual for you in a second. So, all of these 4 implications rest on the basis that the universe actually began to exist. Okay? All of these 4 implications actually rest on the fundamental belief that the universe began to exist. Now, is there anyone here that does not believe the universe began to exist? I.e., the universe was eternal. Because if not, we can deal with that first. You don't believe it? Okay, let me explain to you. For the sake of God, right? Have you heard of the Big Bang? The universe began to exist. Right? That's the scientific argument. Right? But then we have the philosophical argument. If you say that the universe never began to exist, what you're saying is that the universe has an infinite past. Okay? Now, if you have an infinite past, that means, see, infinity is never actualized. It is never actualized. And mathematicians they have a consensus on this. That infinity is not something that is ever actualized. There is always a potential of infinity, but it can never be actually brought into actuality. For example, if I say to you that there's 2 people on each end of the room, and look at the distance halfway and come in halfway. From here to here come halfway, and there to there come halfway. And then keep cutting it down half and half and half. Would you ever meet in the center? No. But would you ever get to that infinity, like to the point that you could call infinity? Could you keep going on forever and get to that point that you call infinity? No, you couldn't. Okay, infinity is never actualized. There's always a potential, right? So what that means is that when we talk about infinity, and infinity comes from mathematicians, and when mathematicians themselves tell us infinity is only an idea, it's something that we use to be able to come up with mathematical calculations, then we should take their word for it. They kind of came up with it, right? Now, what that means is, if you say that the universe is eternal, if you say that the universe is infinite, then that means we have an infinite history. And because infinity is always an idea, that means our history would just be an idea. Our history would not be actual, but is our history actual? Did it happen? Did it happen? Yeah. That means we didn't have an infinite past. Okay? So the universe began to exist. I don't want to get technical because sometimes people have to be a bit tricky.
because there has to be something to create something.
Exactly. There has to be a cause from which it came, right? There has to be a cause from which it came. Things don't just imagine I told you, bro. You want to get married? You want to get married? Yeah? You don't have to look any further. Pow! She's the pig. Does that happen? Like you're looking for a wife and suddenly that's kind of what's your dad's number? Right? Does that ever happen? Do things just pop out of nowhere? Right? Like why do you go to work? Because money, like you know, my mom always used to say, money don't grow on trees, mate. Right? But even that, we still have a cause. So things have to have a source. They have to have something from which it comes. Now, have you guys ever heard of people say, but the scientists have proved that the universe came from nothing? Have you ever heard that? Any physicists here? Any physicists? What number is this uni in the rankings? You got upset. I'm joking. Okay, so, yeah. It's only because you guys are not talking to me. It upsets me when I ask questions and people don't respond. Okay, so, in the field of quantum physics, right, basically, you have something known as a quantum vacuum, right, in which there is nothing physical, i.e., like you see me and you're talking, bro. Is there anything between me and you? There's nothing physical. But is there something?
Yeah.
What's between us?
Air.
Air, right? We have all these protons, neurons, right? All this crazy chemical stuff is happening, right? And in essence, that's what the quantum vacuum is, right? Not only is there crazy particles going forward and back, but it's a rich sea of fluctuating and violent energy that is going around the universe, right? So scientists say, because in the quantum vacuum, there's nothing, the universe can come from something. Because inside this vacuum of nothing, things appear and reappear and disappear spontaneously. But we're like, that's not nothing, it's something, man. It's very misleading, right? You may have heard of Professor Lawrence Krauss. He wrote a book called A Universe from Nothing, and you may have also heard of Hunter Sources. He's actually debating him on this very topic this Saturday. It's, you know, tough luck being able to do this because it's sold out. But, you know, it's something that's been refuted over and over again. In scientific terms, it's nothing, but realistically, it's something, right? So you can't ever say that something ever comes from absolutely nothing. There always has to be a cause for the thing that comes after it. Okay, so we can say that first one doesn't apply. The universe had to have had a cause. There had to have been something that caused the universe to exist. Now, what if I say the universe created itself? Can the universe create itself? Why not?
Because we don't see anything creating itself.
Why not?
Because you don't.
But why not?
They can't.
Why not?
There needs to be something to create.
Why?
To create yourself, you need to be like not present and present at the same time.
Exactly. To create yourself, you need to exist and not exist at the same time. Is that possible? It's like me saying to you, bro, you think the universe created itself? Okay. I want you to visualize something. Imagine your mom, she's pregnant. And she's in labor for 17 hours. And your dad's in the room. And then she finally gives birth to herself. Is that possible? No. When you say the universe created itself, it's like you're saying your mom gave birth to herself. And that is an impossibility. Right? And something impossible can never be rationalized. Okay? So we can kick that one out of the window. That means the third possibility is that the universe came to be from something that was also created. And who was told, you just have to believe. But it's not true. Never in the history of Islamic scholarship, right, has there ever been an age like today, where someone comes with an Islamic question, and they're like, you just have to believe, bro. It don't work like that, right? Our scholars, such as Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, had answered this question 1,000 years ago. Well, no, he wasn't around 1,000 years ago. 700-800 years ago, right? He didn't answer these questions back then. All of these questions have an answer. And to demonstrate the answer to this question, I would like to have 4 volunteers, please. 1, 2. Comes in front, please. John. Yeah, the bottom of the phone. Contribute. Okay. Meet Bobby. Bobby is in year 1. How old is someone in year 1? 5? What age is someone going to potty train? Bobby was a bit late. Okay? It took him a bit of time. He took off the nappy just a few weeks ago. He's 5. 5 or 6, yeah? So he's just getting into the hang of things. Now Bobby's feeling confident. Bobby comes to school. Name, bro? Sister? Oh, Tamil. I think it's a thing move. Okay, so here's his teacher, Mr. Tamil. He's feeling so confident, right? Big boy now. Big boy underwear. Don't wear napkins. Right? And just when things are going good and Mr. Tamil was going through all these equations, not only is he doing that, right, but he's answering the sum. This one equals 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. And he's so then suddenly, he realized, uh-oh, I forgot to go to the room before I came this morning. And you know when you do that, suddenly it's like, oh, snap, now I'm going to go. So now I'm going to go. But it's okay, because he's done it for 2 weeks without the nap. So what does he do? He puts his hand up. Yeah. Okay, so now assume that Mr. Tamil, he's a bit of an evil teacher. Say Bob. And he says, yeah, Bobby, because he knows, right? But the thing is, he went to school with Bobby's dad, and he wanted to marry Bobby's mom. Bobby's dad got there first. So now he wants to take revenge on the son. So he's trying to be funny. And he says, sure, Bobby, but I'm just a teacher. I have to go and ask the teacher about permission. So, go to Mr. Ismail and ask him permission.
Ismail.
And it's true that Mr. Ismail says, suddenly, he also wants to marry Bobby's mom. I guess either she was just, mashallah, or she got her up. Bobby's mom's not real, so it's not really an insult. Okay? But some of the people who were in the crowd are like, so Mr. Ismail, who also wants to get back? And he says to Mr. Adam,
You want to marry Bobby's mom too?
Now assume that Mr. Adam asks Mr. with the camera, who asks Mr. from Saudi, right? Who asks Mr. not trying to do shit here. I'm just trying to give you a vision to help you understand, because it's quite an abstract concept. So to help you understand, I'm going to break it down visually. Assume that this represents the first cause of that universe, or the first creator. Now, if we ask who created that universe, sorry, who created the creator who created that universe, that means we have to ask. No, we have to ask who created this creator. If you say, if this creator had a creator, then you have to ask who created that creator. Then you have to ask. I'm not working with you. Mashallah. And then you have to ask. And then this goes on for infinity. Now, here's the point. If this went on for infinity, and it would have to, if the first creator had a creator, then the core, then the regression would go on, right? If that were to happen, then this universe would have never got created. Why? Because for this to have been created, it is dependent upon this to create it. But if this is dependent upon that to create it, and he is dependent upon an infinite creators to create it, would he have actually come into existence? No, because he's lost in an infinite rebirth. So that means, by necessity of his existence, in other words, by necessity of our existence, this universe, the thing that brought it into existence had to have been uncreated. Logically, you can show. If it were any other way, we would not exist. I'm giving you deductive reasoning, right? I'm not putting it in philosophical argument forms. I don't feel there's any need. But I'm giving you rational deductive reasons for you to believe that there is a cause and a creator of this universe, and to believe that there is a cause and creator of this universe who himself was not cause and was not created. You can't escape this. Even Richard Dawkins, you guys should say that. You guys have you guys heard of Richard Dawkins?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not mentioning these names that I have a go at them, but just to give you an example, he is, one of the world's leading atheists. Sorry, no, I don't want to put him in the same category as atheists. He represents what is known as the new atheist movement. Generally, atheists and the new atheists are different, right? So it's very different thing. The new atheist movement, he's kind of like at the head of that, right? In his book, The God Delusion. Anyone ready by any chance? You ready?
I'm reading it.
You're reading it. Where have you got to?
Not too far. Chapter 2 at the moment.
Chapter 2.
Not too far.
Okay, so God is megalomaniacal, misogynistic, homophobic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chapter 2 at the start.
It's actually a really exciting read. But I'm speaking with bias here. I think it's absolute rubbish. I've actually did a research that's going to be out soon, like breaking down his arguments. But what you'll see in chapter 4 is that he affirms in his chapter why the homosexuality is not a God. He affirms, Richard Dawkins affirms, that there has to be a first cause. Because he says, a cause that was not created, in other words. When you say first cause, philosophically speaking, what you're saying is that there was a cause that was not itself caused. Right? He says, my theologian friends always come to me, they say to me that there has to be something rather than nothing. There has to be a first cause. And what he responds by saying is, yes. 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 You get it? He accepted that there has to be a first cause. That's it. Okay, but then what does he say? But it can't be God. Because then the question arises, who designed the designer? In other words, who created God? Does that make sense? You're saying there has to be a first cause. We're saying here is a first cause. Some people call it God. Some people call it whatever. We call it Allah. Right? And now you're asking, well then who caused this cause? But you're affirming there has to be a first cause. So eventually you're going to get to a point where you get to a divine creator. Regardless. Right? And to be honest, to ask that question, who created God or who designed the designer, is in essence not a very smart question, right? Because it's not a question, there's not a contention to the existence of this creator. It's a question about the nature of this creator. If I say to you, right, like this Nikon is not designed, this camera is not designed, I don't grab it, it's not designed, because then we have to ask who designed it. Who designed the one who designed it? Is that a reasonable question for me to ask? Is that a reasonable question? It's a clear example of him confusing the agent with the mechanism. Just because you know how the mechanism works does not mean the agent didn't bring it about into existence. I'm really sorry, I have to do this. Can I spoil the book for you? I really want to spoil the book. Can I spoil the book for you?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, so his main argument is this, right? His main argument is that there's no design in the universe, and there has to be, you have to ask who designed the design. That's his main central argument, right? Now, in essence, what he's saying is, your explanation is not the best explanation, because that requires us to ask the question about what explains your explanation. What is the explanation of your explanation? Does that make sense? Right? I'm saying Allah is our explanation, but he says, well, Allah is too complex. According to him, you have to ask who. Give me an explanation for that explanation. Now, what's science all about? Pardon?
Empirical.
Providing an explanation. Richard Dawkins is the same scientist. Let's apply this to his work. If you say, okay, you put out the scientific experiment, you've come up with results, and you've given me an explanation. But what explains that explanation? And what explains that explanation? You would be lost in an infinite universe of explanations. Would you ever explain it? So Richard Dawkins, unknowingly, just destroyed science. He just destroyed the very thing that he says will explain everything. Right? But yeah, anyway. And notice the argument that I've given you, by the way, sorry, I really want to, because I've just gone through this book right now, right? So I just want to give you a few things. Have you gone through the chapter, your God hypothesis, right? That's the chapter you're on, the God hypothesis.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you notice is, he gives you all these arguments for the existence of God, and he breaks them down, like Thomas Aquinas and all these kind of arguments. But he never touches upon the Kalam cosmological argument, which is the argument I just gave you. The argument, there are different arguments of causality, but not the one that I gave you. The reason he didn't deal with this is because it can't be dealt with. You can't escape it. Okay, enough about Richard Dawkins. So we can logically come to the conclusion that it has to be a cause, the cause was uncaused, blah 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 blah. Okay! Happy days as a cause. So what? So why do I have to care about this cause? Why do I need to have a relationship with this cause? Good answer. Okay. So, again, let's go to the Quran. Allah says in a chapter called Fusilat, right? Allah says that we will show them the signs. We will show them the signs in the horizons, i.e. outside in the sky and space. Then we will show them the signs within themselves until they know with absolute certainty that this is the truth. And I showed you the sign from the Quran that Allah alludes to. Now I'm going to show you the sign within yourself. And that sounds really strange when you think about it. Like, in essence, what I'm saying is that there is proof for Allah's existence in you. Do you believe it? Why? What reason? Could be life. That, wallahi, that's fine. No, it's you guys, it's not me. It's not me. You didn't get the joke. The joke was too academic. If I went to Oxford, or Bristol, right? They would understand. I'm joking. Okay. There is proof of Allah's existence inside you. That's very strange. Let's go to the Quran, right? And again, I'll recite the verse in Arabic. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Begin with the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most benevolent. He says in chapter 56 towards the end, أَفَرَأَيْتُم مَّا تُمْنُونَ وَأَنْتُمْ تَخْلُقُونَهُ أَمْ نَحْنُ الْخَالِقُونَ. This is a very strange verse. See, when you read the Quran, you're supposed to ponder, think, why is this here? Sometimes you just read it like, just to think. Let me translate it. Allah says, do they not reflect on the sperm? Do they not reflect on the sperm? Did you create that sperm? Or did I create it? Why on earth are we being asked to reflect upon the sperm of all things? Well, let's reflect on the sperm for a second. Let's reflect on the sperm. And let's see together what we can come up with. So we're going to reflect upon the sperm rationally. But you know what? First, let's dive into it from a scientific perspective. Anyone study sperm? Or a PhD in sperm? Anyone like that? No? Okay. Let's use a vision. Okay. Now you see the sperm, right? If I was to paint a mechanical picture of it, because science, basically, the viewpoint is nowadays that everything is mechanical, right? Nature is all mechanical. Evolution is proof that we're all just mechanisms, right? It's just a brute fact we exist. So let's paint the picture of a sperm as a mechanism. Now, you see that first picture in the top left? That's left, right? Yeah. What that is the second layer of arm. And the part of it that's opened up is the first layer of arm. So what we understand is the sperm has two layers of arm. It has two layers of arm. Right in the middle of it, inside, is the chromosome package. And that is the parcel. The sperm is like a delivery boy, right? And its objective is to deliver those chromosomes inside the egg of the mother, inside the womb of the mother, so it can fuse and merge with the chromosomes in there. And through that process, we as human beings are created. But hold on. That's quite strange. The sperm has an arm, second has an arm. It doesn't show it in this picture, but the sperm, it also has a chemical weapon under each layer of arm. Enzyme sacs. And these are specifically created for the purpose that for the problems the sperm will face when it's inside the womb of the mother. For example, it would have to pierce the fluid that is around the egg. Then it would have to pierce the eggshell itself. Right? So it requires those chemical weapons. But now the sperm, it doesn't start off at the egg, does it? It has to get from the from when it enters inside the womb of the mother, it has to go to the egg, right? So the sperm, it swims there. How does it swim? Well, it needs to have a tail. And the tail has to move in a propeller fashion. It has to move in a propeller fashion. Otherwise, the sperm cannot swim up in that direction. Okay. engine, and then furthermore, the engine had to specifically be run by fructose. No other fuel will allow this engine to work. If it didn't have all of these things, human life would not exist. Would not exist. At any point in that process, if any one of those parts were missing in the sperm, human life would not exist. Millions of sperm enter the womb of the mother anyway. Within hours, the walls of the womb are coated with about 95, the majority, 95% of that sperm is dead. And only a very select few actually make it up to the egg. The number itself is high on purpose, because there are chemicals inside the womb of the mother that protect the mother's womb from viruses, but are also detrimental to the life of the sperm. Even the number of the sperm is left out. So the question that I want to ask you is this. The sperm is created for the objective of carrying out its functions. Let me repeat this. The sperm is created for the objective of carrying out its functions in the womb of the mother. But the sperm itself is created inside the womb of the father. It's created inside the tubes that are inside the reproductive organs of the man. And it's actually created like a conveyor belt system. You know how like something comes through, then you put like the head and the tail and the engine, and it's loaded up with fuel. Do these reproductive faculties have a mind? Do they have a mind? Do they know how to create this thing? Do they know how to make the sperm? They don't have a mind, do they?
No.
Okay. Do they even know what fructose is? They don't know that that is the right fuel to function the engine? Do they even know that we're creating the sperm in this way because of the package that's inside it? The chromosome. Are they aware of anything? No, because these are unconscious faculties, right? Now, in anyone's head did evolution pop up? Let's discuss evolution. Because evolution would argue, evolution would actually come forth and argue that no, it doesn't need to have a mind. Because the process of random mutation and natural selection over a period of time, survival of the fittest, the sperm would come in this way ultimately, right, through survival of the fittest, and create itself in this perfect form. Now let's take this and put it to the test and see if that is even possible. Let's assume that that can happen for my eye. Let's assume that that can happen for how much time? 7. Maybe 5. Assume that that can happen for my leg. Assume that it can happen for the mouse, the rat, right? But can that happen with the sperm? Well, Richard Dawkins. Sorry, not Richard Dawkins. This guy's in my head. Who's the evolution guy here? Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin writes in his book, The Origin of Species. If there is something that we can find that it is necessary for all its components to be there at one time, if there is something that we can find, if there is an organism that we can find where it is necessary for all of its components to be there at the same time, necessary for it to exist, then this would disprove my theory. Richard Dawkins actually quotes this in chapter 4, right? And this is known as irreducible complexity. Irreducible complexity. So what I'm arguing with you is that the sperm is irreducibly complex. What that means in layman's terms is that if the sperm evolved, if first it was just one layer of armor, and then it was just this, and then it was this, and then it messed around with different kind of engine fuels and different kind of tails, and if that was point in that evolutionary process